everybody. Welcome to episode 13 of Sprites Bites. No, it's episode 12. I'm getting ahead of myself. Welcome to episode 12 of Sprites, Bites, and Pixels. I just got, you know what? It was my
You see the
eyes.
shit I have to deal with?
My
See the
eyes
shit I
got
have
drawn
deal
to
with?
Russell's collection at the back, and I just couldn't focus. But we are on episode 12, and we have a new guest that's joining us today. He's a hardcore Wii U completionist and a big toy guy, and one of the first people that I met in the industry, and that's Russell. Russell, maybe if you want to give a brief background about who you are, what got you into collecting, and what you are currently playing.
The collecting bug got me from day one. I started that when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I collected, the first thing I did was bottle caps and then Pokemon cards. I even collected the Spice Girls photos when they came out. Anything that was even hot at the time, I was all over it all my life. So when I kept my video games, every single one I had from when I was a kid. And the first video game show I went to, Adam D got me to go to, and I was hooked from there. And I met you shortly after, Robin, I think at the Cambridge one.
Along with like the CGCC one, right?
Yeah, the really small one. And you're like, you asked me, you're like, hey man, this stuff's awesome. Like, how can you get into more of it? And we hooked up right from there, and we're going to every single show together from there for years on. Yeah. And yeah, Wilson, same thing. The first incident I had with Wilson, I met him at a show, and he was just helping out another vendor, and he was willing to help every single person who was carrying stuff. Hey man, do you need a hand? Would you like to help lift some stuff in? And he was just a very liked person from there. So I always worked well with Wilson too. But yeah, my name is Russell Davey. I've been collecting, I don't know, since I was a kid, but I got heavy into the Wii U. When they launched Smash Bros is actually when I bought the system, and I had about 60 games when they discontinued it, and from that point there was only about 150 out there, so I figured I got nearly half of it, might as well go for the rest of it. They're not hard to find, and yeah, within a month I completed it and just kept going after it because it was awesome finding these little variants, all these little things, and the bonus box, or like the collectible boxes that they have, everything that was, I just couldn't stop. So I actually sold off all of my other collections just to keep funding the Wii U, and it hasn't stopped. So yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. All right, cool. So what are you playing right now?
Oh, that's a lot of stuff. I just beat Donkey Kong Country 3 on the Switch just when that came out there. That only took a few hours though. Steph got me.
Wait, hold on. A few hours, even including like all the extra, because some of those
103%, and yeah, I did that, and it was 4 hours and 5 minutes is what it gave me at the end.
No,
I wasn't even trying to speed run it too. I could rip through that a lot quicker. That was one of my favorite games as a kid.
Okay, I'm surprised. I bow down to you. Like
that's easy. That's easy. No, like there's stuff. You watch a speed run, guys are getting that done in under like, it's like 2 hours, man. It's crazy.
Do you speed run?
Yeah, I used to. I don't actively try. I don't do videos and stuff, but I got big onto that in Halo 2. So like when you could like skip over levels by jumping roofs and stuff, you can complete levels in 2-3 minutes. I was all over that stuff. Mario, I don't stop. It's straight runner. You don't stop. You just run and jump. Yeah, there's no slowing down. You don't hit blocks.
That's awesome. I had no idea you were into speedrunning. That's so cool.
Yeah, let's get everything done as quick as you can. I don't know. Tony Hawk, Steph just bought me Tony Hawk, the Master Remake, and I beat that in under an hour. The first 2 levels I completed in the first like 2-minute run, like everything you can do. Yeah.
Robin, you got some competition, man.
Well, I take a long ass time to play my games. I'm like the opposite. I'm like a slow runner.
Ones I do, like I've been playing Rocket League for like 4 or 5 years now with buddies. Call of Duty, still playing that every time buddies want to play. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for Switch, that still playing online all the time too. So those 3 I legit have played in the last 3 days. So wow. I'm still playing quite a bit.
We're learning new things. All right, so Russell's a D-Lo speedrunner that we didn't even know about. What about you, Wilson? What are you playing right now?
I obviously it's been Genshin Impact. However, I got to a point. I know, right? What? I got to a point actually yesterday where I'm getting to that moment where I'm not enjoying it as much as I used to. There's a story part where I'm at a boss and I couldn't beat the boss, and I'm like, I'm my level's too high, and the game matches with your level, so it's not as fun as it used to. So I started playing Godfall again yesterday.
PS5?
For the PS5, yeah. It's the game that I actually bought with my PS5 and went back to that. I've also been playing my 3DS every once in a while. I started Pokemon Picross again.
Mhm.
I've never played that Pokemon. It's like one of the only ones I've never played.
I love Pokemon Picross. So, I don't know. We did an episode on. Did we do an episode on puzzle games? No, we did the episode on mobile, and I spoke about how much I like puzzles. I really, really like puzzle games. And it's right up my alley. I'm playing other things as well, but you know what? Like those are the two I've been playing as of lately. What about you, Robin? What have you been playing?
So I beat Shadow of War. Had a really good blast with that. So Shadow of Mordor is the first game that I beat in 2020. So I thought it would be apt for me to beat Shadow of War for the first game in 2021. I've switched over to playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but man, that game is tough. Like that's not an easy game.
Tough for you?
Yeah, and I guess maybe it's because I just like to hack and slash, and I like to run away and regenerate my health and come back and kind of be a little bit more stealth. You don't really have that option in Fallen Order, which is very, very annoying. I figured that since if you have a lightsaber, you should be able to do a lot of crazy shit. Nothing should be able to beat you. But there's random animals that are on the maps that are killing me. And I'm like, this is really frustrating. And one other thing is I just went to a planet and I beat that stage. And there's no fast travel back to the ship. You have to figure your way out back. And it's really annoying. I don't like that stuff. Like I'd rather just...
You know Fallen Order is a Souls game, right?
It's a what?
It's like a Souls game, like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, all that shit. Like, do you not play the Souls games?
I've never played them before. No.
Bloodborne would kick your ass. I've actually spoken about Bloodborne before, but yeah, that's kind of like the aspect. So I don't know. Some Fallen Order isn't for everybody. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. Are you good over there, Russ?
Yeah. Phone's falling all over the place. That's fine though. I still hear you.
It's better. It's better. All right. Well,
awesome.
Now we're on to what we're all currently playing. Our episode today is going to be about the toy industry and its reflection on video games, or vice versa. That's why we have Russell here. As you can see in the background, Russell has this insane collection of toys, and we thought he'd be the perfect person to speak about the toy industry and its involvement in the video game industry.
So Russell,
you go, Robin.
No worries. So when it comes to when you take a look at toys, typically some of the toys that people really quickly resonate with are stuff like action figures, whether they're superheroes or Barbies and that kind of stuff. But when you take a look at toys that are specific to video games, it's a very different niche. Like there's so many different variables, so many different variants, and so many different types of toys. And you said that you've always been a collector at heart. So why don't you walk us through how you kind of made that transition, or if it was a transition at all, from being an avid gamer and a game collector to somebody that started delving into the toy industry?
Well, I'd say you kind of got both at the same time. I got the black and white Game Boy with Pokemon, and at the same time I was given Power Rangers toys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all that kind of stuff, and kept all that at the same time as I kept the games. So they kind of fed off of each other. I wouldn't say I got into one before the other, but I definitely collected more video games than I collected toys as I got older. And once you completed the video game sets, you just got more into the toys. If you found a toy that related to those video games and it displayed well with it, you got that. And if you found out there was a whole set for those and you're a completionist with the video games, you kind of went hard at it with the toys too. So I kind of was at both of them like since day one, but the toys actively the last few years, I'm going to say, has taken over the video games for me. Since I'm done what I pretty much want for video games, I'm just buying what I want to play now.
So when it comes to collecting for toys, do you think that people stick to certain kind of, collection criteria? Like, let's say if you're a Nintendo collector, you're going to collect NES, SNES, N64. But if you're a toy collector, do people typically go for like a full set of, let's say, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys? Or like, how does that work?
If you are a turtle collector and Yeah, you usually go for the line that you're interested in. So the vintage line, you'll go for the 88 to the 92, 93. Most people won't collect the 2000s if they're into that stuff because it's just so big and it doesn't really fit in that much. But then some people collect all of it and they'll go for everything. But they do that just like video game guys. But the odd guy won't usually go after what he wants to play with anymore. If so, they're just buying the cheap ones and they're not really caring if it's in the mintest condition. Like, yeah.
It's not. So go ahead, Wilson.
Yeah. Do you feel that maybe like Pokemon helped with that transition? Because with Pokemon, you have like it's a huge video game, but it also was a huge card game, and there were toys for it and all that jazz. Do you think Pokemon had a strong involvement in you getting into the toy aspect of that?
Yeah, definitely. That if you're gonna say what did I collect first in the toy line, like I guess my whole entire wall right here is just cards, but I completed the base set pack fresh when I was a kid, never even played with it. So I have everything from first jungle, fossil, all that stuff, pack fresh. Still from when I was a kid in this binder. That's my binder from when I was a kid.
Wow. How much do you think that binder's worth?
Hey?
How much do you think that binder's worth?
I have no idea. Funny story, when I was a kid, my parents wanted me to try to sell off a bunch of stuff since even when I was a kid I had a lot. I tried selling that at a garage sale for like $20 and nobody bought it. Thank God, because today that Charizard alone, I just sold one for $750. So I probably had 10 base Charizards in the last year, and they've just skyrocketed. Like they've gone up more than video games. Like video games are small in comparison to Pokemon cards and sport cards and all that stuff.
Oh, you hear that, Robin?
Yeah, I heard that, and you know, I've been tracking like the sale of TCG, like Pokemon TCG, and it feels like Charizard and like Pokemon really peaked like early mid-ish 2020 when that $250,000 sale happened.
Yeah,
for Charizard, and it's kind of plateaued now. And
no, another set just sold for over 400,000, like another box that someone's gonna rip. Yeah, and they're gonna probably rip that live, and all those cards that they pull are gonna go up in value. And then the next set that comes out in February is gonna re-release some of your starters from base set, like the red health points. So
yeah,
your Bulbasaur, Squirtle, like Pikachu, that stuff's just gonna boom up. I've been stocking up. I got over 100 base Pikachus right now. A couple of first editions, Shadowless, like Red Cheeks, E3s.
How do you come across this stuff? Is it like the same way that you would for games, like just hunting?
Yeah.
Hunting for
So there are card shows and card groups. I'm in probably more card groups than I am video game groups now, and they're big. Like the community there is very tight. If somebody tries to scam one another, they're slammed almost quicker than they are like you would see in the video game community. And you guys have seen that, like the ban hammer, it gets swung pretty hard when somebody's being an idiot.
It's nuts, man. Like so in one of the groups that I'm in, it's called like High End Game Room, and it's usually people that are like the big guys, the guys that will spend like tens, hundreds of $1,000s on video games. And I'm seeing some of these guys, like there was one guy, he had a Charizard. I think it was like, I don't know if it was PSA 10 or PSA 9.5. I don't know if it was first edition or Shadowless.
Yeah, without 10,000.
No, he said like the valuation he had on it was like 40,000, and he wanted to get a Crash Bandicoot for PS1. He wanted to get either a graded or a sealed Crash Bandicoot, or he was offering 30,000 US for the Crash. And to gamers, that sounds like a shit ton of money, but when you're looking at like the hardcore TCG crowd or the comic book crowd, it's nothing. And
that's standard for cards. Like when I was a kid, I opened all those. I don't even know the value on most of that stuff. There's a lot of first editions and stuff in there, but this whole entire case here, this is all just graded cards. So that right there, I have over 15 grand just in this binder or this case alone of just graded cards, which the video game collection, that whole entire wall, probably you wouldn't get that in Wii U. So I probably got more than that in the Wii U with the variants and stuff, but I don't really follow the value. I usually pay what the value is at the time, and I don't really try and follow it unless somebody else makes an astronomical sale and it gets posted to the group. I'm like, whoa, that's now worth that. That's crazy.
In the card collecting groups that you're in, do you find there are other gamers who are in these groups as well? Like other known?
I've seen a lot of crossover people now. One of my favorites is Travi Gillis and Andrew Tang. They've kind of crossed over. That's okay. I've been dealing with them for as long as you guys, and it's awesome to see familiar faces in the card industry as well. And I don't want to say they're bigger into cards than they are into games, but I see them more actively in the card groups now than I have in the game groups. But that's maybe because I'm more active in those groups and I follow those groups more now than the game groups as well, though, too.
I went to the basement.
They're the creators of the group that myself and Robin admin, CVVG, Canadian Vintage Video Games, for anybody who wants to join. And we have our own chat, our own administration chat, and they'll show us sometimes the cards that they have and what they're going to be selling and stuff that they've grabbed. And it is a big, the card industry is a big deal.
Yeah. It's awesome. I've been trying to coax pretty much all my close buddies in the video game industry to get into the cards, not while you can or while it's hot, but while it's available, because it's really hard to get your hands on product right now. Like if you go to Walmart and try to buy something that you're interested in, there's nothing. Like
I'm gonna ask you, because it's like, would you say that if you have an opportunity to go out and buy booster boxes, or to buy Elite Trainer, Champions Path Elite Trainer boxes, do you think
you can get them at retail cost? Yes, that's a good way to get yourself into it. Especially the Champions Path Elite Trainer boxes. You automatically get a promo Charizard with it, even if the rest of the packs you don't pull anything. You're guaranteed that card sells raw for about $15, $20, but if you grade it, I just sold one for $90, and you can buy that box for $70, $80 retail, and you can get cards graded for under $20. So you at least make your money back right there, and then you could hit stuff on the box. So
I'm seeing
you don't lose money on that one.
See, what I'm seeing is there's a guy that I've seen on Facebook and on Kijiji, and he has booster boxes, and he has crazy prices listed for them. But I talk to other people that deal in cards, and sometimes what they do is they'll buy 10 booster boxes for a specific set and just sit on it for 5-10 years.
And it goes up. Yep.
Yeah.
So pretty much the Evolution set that was made in 2016, they've been remaking it in stores where you get the Elite Trainer boxes, and they're not the most expensive, but they haven't been remaking the booster boxes, and the booster boxes for that set now are going for about $600. So
yeah, you
could have bought them at the time for about $150, and if you sat on it for 4 years, you're for extra money. So
it's crazy. And you brought up a really good point earlier in this chat, where you were talking about how the people that bought that $400,000 set, they're going to open it live, and as a result, the value of these cards, if the possibility of it happening. And if they do it, the value of those cards is going to go up. Do you think
that's what happened with Logan Paul and everything?
Yeah, exactly. Do you think similar stuff happens in the toy industry as well? How does that relate?
Yeah, it's pretty much this. I wouldn't say it's the same thing. You don't have big enough guys like Logan Paul or like Gary V. He just talked about more Pokemon cards, so their hype's not gonna. I don't think it's plateaued yet. They're gonna keep going up, but you don't have big enough names like that talking about the toys to make it hype as quick as that. Pokemon cards, just like video games, when COVID hit, it didn't just slowly gradually climb. It 2x 3x, it doubled and tripled quicker than we've seen in the last 10 years. So toys haven't done that. A lot of toys that I'm interested in, at least, have stayed around the same. Some of them have doubled, but nothing's really gone crazy. Even the vintage wrestlers, old Star Wars toys, they've stayed where they are, have gone up. They haven't really dropped at all. So it's still something that you can get into if you're interested in it. The cards, though, if you consider that a toy, they've just gone out the roof.
So what would you say is the variant that has increased? Like you said, Star Wars is kind of the same. I don't know. Would you say Ninja Turtles are higher? What? Oh my God, I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. What subjects? No. What
lines? What lines of toys?
Yeah, sure. What lines? Thank you, Robin. What lines of toys would you say have increased significantly in price?
Significantly over the course of just the COVID time, or over the course of the time I've gotten into it?
Let's say both.
Pretty much everything I've bought and has gone up in value. So pretty much all of them, but pretty much anything I'm going to say 90s and below are going up, and 2000s till now kind of go down. I don't want to say they make more of them, but there's less interest in that because we didn't grow up with it, and the toys hit more of your nostalgia for most of these guys. We're not sitting there playing with them on the shelves, even though I love to pose them. I'd rather an open toy than a packaged toy, just so I don't want to play with it, but I'd rather pose it and have it with his weapons and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, hopefully when my daughter gets older and she gets into this stuff, like Steph's collected almost every single Polly Pocket out there. We have 2 complete bookshelves of them. So she can't let them have them yet because they're too small, but we want them to get into that kind of stuff. That's what we grew up with. So we're kind of hitting that market because that's the age group that has the disposable income. And there wasn't really as many hot collectibles in the 2000s. There was some figures, but there wasn't as much.
That kind of that I thought would be really hot and really nostalgic that really isn't. And I look back to my childhood and I think about stuff like Crazy Bones. I think about Pogs and Slammers and that kind of stuff. And sure, there's still a bit of a demand behind it.
Pogs haven't gone up in value at all. Like I still have tons of them, but I loved them as a kid, but they never remade any. There was never any show. There was never any figures for them. They originated as milk caps. It was a Canadian game pretty much. It was in the States. It was everywhere else, but it was big here in Canada. So
we got a 10-minute timer, guys. So we have 10 more minutes.
Oh shoot! Sorry.
And then we'll create a new one. So we'll finish this on the toys, and then I'll send a new invite, and we'll do the second episode.
Okay.
So just to your point about like Pogs not going up in value at all, what is it do you think that helps create this demand for these toys and in turn like increases their value? Because there was like Beanie Babies. People thought that they were going to be like this huge explosion, but they're pretty much not worth anything now.
Most of them are not worth anything, but there are the odd one that so my wife has gotten into Beanie Babies. Even the cards, there's numbered cards. There's mail-away Beanie Babies. Yeah, like she has a Beanie Baby. Like right now, even when you look it up on eBay, there's none of them you can buy for less than $100. Even sold, there's none of them for less than $100. Not that they're all $1 or $2 each. So I laugh them off like you too, Robin.
Yeah.
But there is a market for everything, but they've nailed it down to those chase ones versus every single one of them. But there is the typo, the misprint ones, and it's the same thing as video games with errors and first, second, third wave prints. That first one or that typo, that error, there are those ones that are worth stupid money. It's crazy.
Let's try to get some of these questions that we spoke about out of the way. And I have like one of the favorite ones I liked that you asked Russell before we start episode. Video game toy lines you wish were made. I'm curious which ones you would like to see that you haven't seen yet.
I want to hear yours first because I bet I'm way different than yours. I'm not going to change my answer, but I want to hear yours first.
I'm not really about someone that collects toys as much as the other, but I do have some really cool figures. I don't see a lot of like Zelda variations out there, so I would probably say something along the lines of Zelda. I don't know, maybe like
that's like one of the most made figures in toy line out there.
I don't know, maybe like a Zelda board game or something like that. That doesn't exist, right?
I think well, there's maybe if you can the Zelda Monopoly. There's 2 of those. I don't know. If you count them.
Those don't count. No, I want like a Zelda quest game, something along the lines of that.
Okay, yeah, that would be interesting.
I would really want to see something like that.
Robin, what about you? Is there like a favorite video game that you have that you'd love to see a figure that you'd proudly display?
For me, I really like Final Fantasy VII, and they do make figures out of that.
Oh, lots. Yeah.
I bought the collector's edition for the remake, so I have like the motorcycle.
The motorcycle, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, like Chrono Trigger didn't really have a lot.
Yes, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger doesn't have much.
See, now Wilson's intrigued. I like the Chrono Trigger figure, yeah.
Yeah, because it's cool, right? It's like it's got that Dragon Ball Z kind of like animation to it, really cool looking characters. So I thought that would have done really well. But some like off the top of my head, the ones that I would proudly collect would be like Final Fantasy VII, but I already have like 10, 15 of those.
Yeah. So for me, it's definitely Geno from Super like Super Mario RPG for SNES. They haven't done anything with him since that game, and he was my favorite character ever since I ever played him. So I wish they did anything with him, not even just a figure or anything. But yeah, I love him. Or Glover.
Oh yeah.
He would fit really well with all the Mario stuff. So just like a little Glover figure. There might even be one out there, but I would love a little Glover figure. That would have been really cool too.
Like a Glover.
That, yeah, even that. Yeah, you have a glove on. It's got two. Yeah, but you're missing a finger somewhere.
Yeah.
Isn't he only 4 fingers?
You just gotta like contort your hand.
Sorry?
I said you just gotta contort your hand to make it fit inside the glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those I really wish they made something like that, because I'd love to proudly display those, because yeah, those are my favorite video game
before the episode started. But one movie that I really loved when I was younger was Small Soldiers. Or was it Small Soldiers, or is it Toy Soldiers? Yeah. I forgot. Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers. Yeah.
That was really cool, and I remember playing Army Men Sarge's Heroes, and the toys in there. So I think like as a kid, you have a bit of a different perspective because there's so many movies. Like you watch Indian in the Cupboard, and it kind of helps like ignite your imagination in terms of like, hey, my toys are doing all this crazy kind of stuff. But for me, there wasn't like gaming is something that I've always gravitated towards, but toys, I don't think I had that same passion carry over from being a child to growing up. Do you think that's pretty prevalent?
Yeah, a lot of people get rid of their stuff at garage sales, and it's very rare. Like I talk to most of my friends, they think I'm crazy. So I don't find most of them go back and buy the toys that were from their childhood. But they'll go back and watch the shows from their childhood. And they're interested in things from their childhood, just not the physical aspect of hoarding or collecting and all that stuff.
Cool. So we got 4 more minutes. I have another question I wanted to ask you. So I think Wilson sent this one over, and it was, what is your favorite where'd it go? Shit. Give me a sec.
Favorite video game toy line?
Yes, favorite video game toy line.
Well, as we were just saying, Small Soldiers is probably one of my favorite for sure. But I was pretty big into like just Disney stuff too. Like I know that's more movies, but they made games and they made toys. But I really like just like the Toy Story figures. Like I got the Slinky Dog, I've got Blinky the Spider, and just they made a lot of weird things in that they're awesome. They're just great toys, and people see that and they're like, oh, Toy Story. They know exactly what it is when they see it. So they don't think the game, but they think the movie. But that's sort of the toy line stuff too.
Awesome. Yeah, that's I think that's like good amount of talking about toys. I think we hit like 35 minutes on this episode. So it's going to be
No, we didn't.
We did.
Seriously?
At 8:05 is when I said let's start now, because I only have 45 minutes. So we're at 8:34 and we have 3 minutes left. So we're gonna hit about like 33 minutes on this episode.
Cool. All right.
Russ, so I'm gonna stop
I want Russ to answer like with a video game though. I think he's cheating.
What? With what?
The favorite video game toy line.
What's my favorite video game toy line? Small Soldiers. Mm-hmm. That would probably be the top choice there.
Small Soldiers, but that was more like a movie.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that's cheating though. It's still my favorite. Or cheating. Pokemon, I guess the cards. That there you go. I sell Pokemon figures too. I got the little Pokédex. I have a lot of Pokemon stuff.
Actually, having a Pokédex would be really cool.
I would love to have that.
I've always wanted a Pokédex, actually.
Yeah. I would love to get that too. Even like the Pikachu Tamagotchi.
Oh yeah, you guys are into it too.
Yeah, I would actually display that.
Kinda. I am getting the Final Fantasy VII polygonal figures soon, so I'm going to be proudly displaying those. I'm really looking forward to having those. Have you seen those?
I do not know those. How are they big?
No, they're like, I think they're, I don't know, maybe that size. They're fairly small, and they're designed just like the Final Fantasy
Less
video
than a minute. We have like 50 seconds.
Okay. They're designed just like the video game figures. So it's like you're looking at the figures from the game. Like they're designed.
Are they die-cast, or are they posable?
No, I don't think so.
Well, you guys, great chat about. I'm just gonna jump in. Great chat about toys. I think we hit some really good topics. And we'll be back for episode 13. We are gonna relate it to something that we talked a lot about in this episode. So guys, I'll give you guys the email shortly, and then we'll hop back on in like 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us for this episode, Russ. And surprise, we're going to have Russ for the next episode as well.
All right. Peace.
Thanks.
Later.
So,